Hey guys, welcome back. Tonight I am getting ready to paint the shell of this car. I'm going to be painting the firewall, the door jambs, the quarter panels, and the rear panel today. I have to do a little bit more sanding, but let me walk around here and I'll show you. I got a little bit more cleanup to do on the front frame here, and I'm gonna actually take this outside and wipe it all down with lacquer thinner real good, just to try to get any grease that's off of it. This is not getting painted tonight. This will get painted later in the week, the black. Firewall is getting painted tonight. All the door jambs are sanded down nicely. Blocked all the quarter panels down and everything. All with 320 grit. Back's ready to go. I still need to sand in the trunk, so I'm gonna get that sanded down tonight, and the floor pans. And I'm gonna tape these off because they're not getting painted tonight. I'm actually gonna paint the floors after I paint the body because I figured it'd be a little bit easier for me to tape off the quarters and stuff than to try to seal off the trunk. And then, so basically I'm gonna paint the rear tail pan, the quarters, door jambs, and firewall today. Tomorrow night, I'm going to paint the dashboard. And then, let me think here, Friday night, I will be painting the floors because I figured if I paint the dashboard, I can just cover that up with a piece of plastic. Paint the floors on Friday night, and then Saturday morning, I'm gonna paint the convertible rack and the front frame set in black. So I'm going to finish sanding. There's no point in videoing me sanding inside the trunk. It's kind of pointless. It's just boring sanding with some 320 grit, but I just want to get that sanded down today because I don't want to have to keep taking this in and out of the spray booth, kind of hoping to just leave it in there. The sides inside of the quarter panels, that gets, there's a little bit of cracking from the old undercoating type stuff they used. I'm actually going to use a chip guard in there and then paint over top of the chip guard. So after I get this finished sanding down, I will get it in the spray booth, I'll get it taped off, and then I'll come back and show you guys. We're gonna put an epoxy primer down. Probably just gonna put an epoxy primer on the filler primer areas, and then everything else will just get painted over top of. This car gets a white stripe between these two dots here because there's a molding that goes on top and bottom. So after the epoxy primer goes on, we got to put a couple coats of white on the side of the car down the center there. It'll have to sit for about an hour to an hour and a half, and then I could tape that off and then put the blue on, peel that off, and then we can clear it. So it'll be kind of a long video. I'll try not to make it too long. I don't know how much of the spraying I'll show. I'll probably show a little bit of it. So I will see you guys in a little while. All right, I got the car in the booth. It's all taped off. It's not the greatest tape job, but it's plenty good enough for what we're doing here. I wiped it down with wax and grease remover. Still have to tack cloth it off. If you can see, there's still a little dust from the wax and grease remover. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix up some epoxy primer, use it as a sealer. It's gonna be a 2-to-1-to-1 mix. So I'm gonna get that mixed up, and then I'll come back out here and we'll get a coat of epoxy primer over the filler primer areas, and we'll hit any bare metal areas up front. Okay, I have it all tack cloth off. Now I'm gonna put on a coat of epoxy primer, sealer. I'm just using a GM Olympic white, which is just their standard white paint. Okay, it's set for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So now I'm going to tape this off. Now on these cars, it goes all the way back to this edge here. And we want to go in the center of the holes so that when the chrome trim goes on, it splits the difference in the paint. And we'll go to this hole here, and then we're just going to taper it down. Same thing on the bottom. Grab a razor blade. And what we'll do is just trim this back edge, flush with the body. I'll have to clean that up a little bit. And then up here, actually it looks like we're pretty good. Make sure when you're cutting on the body that you don't cut too deep and scratch your paint job. Then just go over it, make sure it's down really, really well. I'm gonna go tape the other side, just like I did this side, and then I'm gonna mix up some of the wrong color blue. Now the wrong color blue, I'm only gonna do it on the quarters and the back pan, tail pan. I'm not gonna do the door jambs and stuff like that. They're already the right color. So we'll just apply more of the right color over top of it. So we'll use the blue on the gray. The reason why I'm using the old blue is I wanna make sure that I duplicate the paint job on all the other parts, because all the other parts were painted the wrong color blue, and then we put the new blue over top. So I just wanna make sure that I duplicate that exact same thing on the body itself, just so that the doors and trunk lid and everything match. of the wrong color. My spray pattern's turned in some because this color does not want to cover really well. So I tightened up my spray pattern a little bit and I under-reduced the paint. So it's coming out all right. I'm going to put one more coat of this wrong color on, and then I will do the right color over top of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the second coat off camera, and then I will come back and show you the first coat of the right color, and then I'll probably finish up the rest of the coats of the right color, and then we'll go on to the clear. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more mixed up and get another coat of this one on. Okay, second coat of blue is on. This is the old blue. So now we're going to start putting on the right color blue, and I'm going to start with the firewall and work my way towards the back of the car so that all my overspray from the firewall goes that way, and then I cover over it as I paint towards the back of the vehicle. So I've got the right color mixing up right now. Once that gets done, we can start putting it on. up some more color. I'm not going to video the rest of the, I'm going to do 2 more light coats just like I did. Now if you notice, I'm staying away a little bit farther from the panel and I'm spraying lighter coats. I'm going over it and then I'm going back down it again. I'm just trying to even the metallics out and not get any modeling. Modeling is when you get blotchiness in your metallics. I'm painting this body just like I did all those other parts when I repainted them over the old blue. I did a couple light mist coats just like I'm doing here. So I'm just trying to duplicate exactly what I did with all the other parts, so fingers crossed everything will match when it's done. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of a hard time in the spray booth trying to video what I'm doing while painting, because this spray booth I only have about 32 to 36 inches on each side of the car between the car and the wall. So I'm trying to set the camera up and it's kind of hard to get a good visual on the side of the car because it's so close to the wall, and then I'm trying to paint and manage to move the hose around and not get it tangled up in the tripod, because the tripod of the camera comes out, you know, at an angle, so it doesn't leave me a lot of room to walk around and stuff. So I'm doing the best I can with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix up some more color. I'm going to do 2 more light coats like that on all the parts, and then after that we will tack cloth the car off, and then we will peel the tape off that's covering the white. After you peel the tape that's covering the white, you really don't want to run a tack cloth on the car anymore, because what will happen is, if let's say you're rubbing that tack cloth on the car and then you start rubbing it over the white, there's a possibility of getting this teal color, tealish blue color onto your white, and then you'll have to respray the white because you'll have teal smudged on the white. So if you're going to tack cloth before you clear, it's best to tack cloth the whole car off, then take your tape off, and then get ready to clear. So what I'll do is, I will, after my last coat of color, I'll come in here, get the gun clean, get everything cleaned up. I'll get a couple batches of clear coat made up, and I'll get them ready to spray. And then I'll go out there and tack cloth, peel the tape, and then start putting the clear on. Now, the clear is going to be 4 coats on the body, 2 coats on the firewall and door jambs. So the first 2 coats of clear I'm going to put on are only going to be on the quarter panels and the back panel. And then the 3rd and 4th coat, I'll go up to the engine compartment, spray those, and work my way back. I'll have to probably jump from side to side so that I can kind of get up to the door jamb, come around this way, get up to the door jamb, and keep bouncing back and forth so I don't get a dry spot where the clear I'm spraying meets up to the clear that I already sprayed. And if it's been more than 5-10 minutes, there's a possibility when you blow that new clear over top of the stuff you just sprayed 5-10 minutes ago, you'll get a dull spot. So you got to kind of keep jumping back and forth and try to avoid that. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the color on, and then I will come back when it's time for clear. Okay, all the color is on. Let me just show you a little walk around here, and then I'm going to get some clear mixed up and tack cloth the car off, and then we'll untape the white stripe. But if you look here, all the color is nice and smooth and even, nice and flat. It's really hard to see on this camera with the lights, but you get an idea. It's all nice and smooth and everything. So next I will, I'm going to get up, mix up 2 quarts of clear, and then we will tack cloth the car off, and then we'll pull this tape off for the white stripe. Okay, I tack cloth the car off. Now I want to get this tape pulled off. Start with that's the first coat of clear on the quarters and the back panel. As you can see, I ran out right towards the top of this panel. If that happens and you're putting clear on, you don't gotta freak out and run around like an animal. You gotta work quickly, but you have a couple minutes before it starts setting up on you. So if you're within a minute or two and you start blowing the clear on again, it'll blend right in, you'll be fine. When I was younger, I'd run around like an idiot, throwing stuff, trying to get clear mixed as fast as possible. And in all reality, it really doesn't matter. So what I'm gonna do now is, I have 3 more coats of clear to put on. I have 1 more on the quarters and the back tail pan, and then 2 more overall, including the front and everything. I'm not going to videotape this next coat, but after that I'll probably videotape the 3rd coat, and then I'll finish up on the 4th. Now with this car and those fins, it is really hard to not get a run in those fins. I'm trying my absolute best not to run that. Problem is you got to have a happy medium. You got to be able to paint inside those fins pretty darn good so that it's nice and smooth without creating a run, because it is almost impossible to get the buffer all the way back in there, you know, towards the end, towards the back of the car. The front half's not hard, so you got to kind of like, you know, get across between. You want to try to barely have any orange peel, because what happens is if you have orange peel, especially on the bottom of that fin, and you buff the bottom and you buff the quarter panel out, the top of the quarter panel, and then that fin has a bunch of orange peel on it, or dry, it actually will reflect onto the quarter panel and make the quarter panel look like it is not wet sanded and buffed enough. So I am going to wait an extra couple minutes longer than I normally would do between coats, because I'm going to try to get that to really get sticky between coats of clear to try to minimize running. So I'm going to go ahead and get this 2nd coat on now. Well, I got 3 coats of clear on so far. I'm going to do 1 more coat. This side looks good. Unfortunately, I got to run in the other side. So that side looks good. This looks good. All this back here looks good. Up until here, I got a sag right along here. It was up in this corner here. So I loaded on a little bit of extra clear because I wanted it to come down, because I have a better chance of getting this sag out down here than I do up in that corner. So, I mean, there's not really much I can do about it. First coat of clear is on here. So I'm gonna do 1 more coat. I actually have 4 coats of clear on that sag, so that what I'm trying to do is build up a little bit extra clear on that sag area so that I have more material to wet sand and buff. So let me get the last coat of clear on, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. All right, it's done. 4 coats of clear. I have 5 heavy coats of clear where this sag is right here. It's hard to see it. It looks worse than it is. What I'll probably try to do is razor blade it out first and see if that doesn't get rid of it. You know, to at least knock down some of the run. Worst case scenario, it doesn't come out, I got to reshoot that quarter panel. It's not the end of the world. It's not the first time. But everywhere else turned out real nice. No runs on this side or anything. Next we'll be painting the dashboard. That'll be the next thing, the dashboard, then the floor pans, and then the convertible rack and the front frame rails. So that's going to end this video, guys. I was hoping not to get a run in it, but unfortunately it happens. As you can see, it happens to everybody. Don't let it get you discouraged. It is what it is. I'm going to take a razor blade. Once it cures for a few days, I'll show you guys how I do it. Tape off the ends. I actually watched a guy do it. I've never actually tried it, maybe once. But I'm going to tape off the ends here and the handle, and we'll try to scrape it down just to get it even with the clear around it. And then if I can do that pretty successfully, I shouldn't have any problem wet sanding and buffing it out. Not too concerned about it. If I do have to fix it, I'll just have to blend the color right there and then reshoot the quarter from the top down, which it won't be a big deal. I haven't painted one of these cars in a few years, and I'm at about a 50-50 with these cars. About half the time I run those fins, the other half I don't. So it is what it is. I've probably painted about 5 of them, and I've probably ran 3 of them. So we'll see how it goes. So next video I'll probably show painting the dashboard, and then we got to do the floors and the satin black. So if you guys like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe, and you guys have a good evening.